Hello, greetings, salutations. My name is Jared, and I am the Midnight Bandit. Um, I'm going to impart some wisdom and probably have uh, a whole bunch of meandering and kind of uh, you know, strange and maybe thought provoking and creative ramblings right now. I'm here with my beautiful fire, as you can see, and my back is very warm. So I was thinking about this today, thinking about people and their tendency to want to look for other. When I say other, I mean like uh, the other tribe, the other faction, the enemy. They want to look for negativity, evil, so to speak, in other people, and even in the most mundane things, like the idea of conspiratory, uh, unknown, vague yet menacing government agencies, and even just your neighbor being, I don't know, a commie or something. It's usually predicated on really disconnected and kind of unrelated phenomena. Like someone happens to be a fascist because they weren't reading the news that day and they went and got themselves a Starbucks, I don't know, macchiato whip with the frigging sparklers at the top, right? You know, that kind of typical everyday thing. And like, I can see that, of course, there's a limit to the amount of asinine crap that you have to deal with and put up with and tolerate. And that a lot of the time, completely respectful and um, civil arguments and conversations are just not realistic. But what I mean to say is that the enemy isn't everywhere. It kind of is, but it isn't. It's only where you look. And if you're looking for the enemy everywhere you look, you'll always find it. It'll be a self fulfilling prophecy of epic proportions. And I was thinking, what do people, what do people uh, hate the most? And I mean, it's kind of a meme at this point. It was like, was like uh, certain individuals were the worst that you could possibly be. Then another group of people became the enemy, and then another group of people, uh, and like these groups of people, their inability to show empathy and their lack of humanity and all that is independent from these people and their accusations, which I think like a lot of people don't understand that it comes from a lack of self-awareness. It comes from a lack of like questioning yourself. Am I actually right? Do I have all of the information to make this assessment? Um, am I actually a good person? It's not necessarily that you'll find anyone um, making these questions or posing these questions upon themselves, because we just want to automatically assume that we have everything figured out and that we are good, and that if we doubt it, um, that the fear that there could possibly be something irregular, irrational, and insane with to do with us, our personality, and like how we view the world, how we view each other, how we view ourselves. Like this is a very scary thing for a lot of people, and the notion that that one could like be insane, whatever capacity that happens to be, like whatever. I mean, I don't know, whatever kind of idea you have about the unknown and insanity. You know, it's like from a person who's been there, who's been into mental health wards, and who has been taking medication for a long time based on mental health disorders. I can tell you that it's not the worst thing. It's not the worst thing. Like, I'd say the fear of the notion that one might be losing grip with reality is scarier than the actual experience of that. Um, I mean, it depends on the circumstance, but essentially, I think that people just kind of point at everyone else around them instead of looking inward at themselves. Because, I mean, I guess some people just automatically assume that they are altruistic or something. That they have to, it's like, it really just, people, I mean, at least in my sense of what is important and what values I want to instill on the planet. Maybe not instill, maybe just like, the values that help me navigate this world. Maybe a lot different than, let's say, someone who um, tends to micromanage everyone else. Right? Who wants to figure out what's going on in their life, as if knowing what's going on in their life will somehow bring that individual anything but more of their clouded perception and their self-fulfilling prophecy of looking for evil in everything. Be like, I knew it. Even though, unrelated and discombobulated, if that's not the right word, but you kind of get by context, these people just make up shit all the time, just like I kind of just misused that word. And it's almost like, okay, so if you could imagine, I don't know when the Salem witch trials, the burning of people and cats and dogs or whatever, I don't know, they're just barbaric people. So I don't know when that was, but the worst thing you could possibly be at that time, because it meant your life was on the line, was being accused of being a witch. Being a witch, it doesn't matter if you are or you aren't one. What matters is if the general consensus of the social network around you is that you are different, you don't validate their ego and their attention-seeking behavior. You're not completely at the mercy of their ability to control your emotions through any kind of simplistic and lazy fashion, through abuse, right, and gaslighting. And you're just different, and you just don't care about whatever it is they're trying to sell you. And then that singles you out. You're the nail that sticks out, and you get hammered. So it's funny because I think that you could live your life completely alone, just doing whatever you want to do, like me, sitting beside my fire. It is real, right? You can see that, right? It's not a TV; it's a TV. But, anyways, I feel like even if I feel like especially if I disregarded people around my community and kind of just didn't pay attention to them, that similar witch hunt would be targeted at me, even though I mean, there's no actual. It's not that I am a witch. It's not that I'm not. It's just, and that's like that term that it loses all meaning when people decide that an individual's entire being can be summed up based on these assumptions that these people come up with over time of just being, jumping to conclusions whenever they possibly can. And yeah, it doesn't, like, these people, they don't care whether or not, whether or not, them and their family are safe. They don't care about like other people's, like, what am I trying to say? It's like the number one things that they stick up for and that they always shout out into the void, so to speak, is they're not like, they're kind of hypocritical when it comes to that. Like, if you have something like a genocide going on in Gaza, um, there are some people who just don't. They try to justify that some kind of bullshit notion that it's anything but an absolute abhorrent and atrocious act of inhumanity, and that's the only thing it is. If you can't protect your community, if you can't protect the people around you, even if they disagree with you, even if they try to vilify you for whatever reason, maybe like maybe like you have a silly hat, right? And you're walking around with a silly hat, and they're like, "Oh my God, that person is literally the worst. He is the devil. He is yada yada, such and so forth." Why would anyone wear a silly hat? Oh, I know. It's because he is the literal worst type of human being you can imagine, and we should like get our we should get our pitchforks and torches together and just rally around, right? So I don't know. It's like if the world was absolutely the enemy in the world was the boogeyman, right? It's kind of silly. It's like it's not a very adult, mature kind of enemy to kind of proclaim, right? Or identify. I don't know. It's like, but as far as being vulnerable, when you're vulnerable, what is the worst thing you can think of? And it's just, they want to plaster everyone with the same thing. It's like, I mean, I'm not being explicit right now. I'm not being explicit and going out of my way to say what people think, but it seems like there's a great deal, whether you're a teacher, whether you're trans, whether you're gay, lesbian, bi, asexual, an orthodontist, a carny, you listen to agrotech, or like you play video games, or specific video games. Let's say you play Fortnite and you're an adult. You play Minecraft, you're a YouTuber. There's a lot of these things. People just automatically assume, like, what's the worst thing you think of? What's the worst type of human being you think of? And they're just throwing it around. Everyone is. Everyone. And if you look for that everywhere you go, I mean, that's your problem. That's kind of like your issue. Essentially, how I want to view the world is not through the lens of like looking for specific evils everywhere. Like, if I can watch myself and kind of note whether or not there is any kind of danger in my environment, that's good. That's one thing. But being aware of your surroundings is a lot different than having some kind of agenda or some kind of pretense to look at the world through the lens of being very hypercritical. I find this is definitely, there's certain people who are just like, when they hang out with their friends, they don't let them slip up. They don't let them do any kind of fumble or like have any kind of fault or flaw. And it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Can't you just be patient and allow your friend to maybe mispronounce a word or like, you know, have a brain fart or something without having to completely dogpile and make them feel like an idiot? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just out of my mind. I know I am, but like, still, like, can we not just be a little bit more tolerant and kind of, like an actual friend to our friends instead of like expecting them to meet us at our standards and razzing them and completely verbally abusing them whenever they step out of line or whatever. I don't know. Just a thought. But yeah, that's just basically. I feel like, yeah. My cat's eating right now, so you hear the munches and crunches of the salmon cat food. But yeah. So essentially, it's not like if you ever run into the problem where you feel like you're an outcast or you're like a bit different, you don't fit into the society, and you feel like some kind of eerie background pressure, like people just don't like you for whatever reason. No, it's not your problem. Like, understand, it's not your problem. For the most part. I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but I know a lot of people they'll just treat you like crap because treating you like crap is more comfortable than actually thinking to themselves, hey, maybe I shouldn't do that. Hey, maybe you know how people get like, am I the bad guy? Who says that? Who says that? Who actually stops and thinks like, no, perhaps I'm the one who should apologize, right? Maybe this happens on like a kind of formal or like, just like a kind of performative manner in life. But yeah, you gotta expect the unexpected, and just know that all these people who may or may not be like looking at you from afar and saying that person is absolutely evil, they're a witch, they're fucking the boogeyman, I don't know. Know that they'll do that to anyone that stands out. Anyone who doesn't like fit with their weird little specific microscopic view of the world is yeah, the enemy. And like, I mean, it could be, it doesn't matter what it is. It does not matter what it is. Disco music, you listen to disco music, something slightly out of the ordinary when it comes to your specific town or culture or whatever, and these people will just dogpile on it and think like, oh, well, we really need to like cast that person aside and absolutely dehumanize them because they have like a slightly different opinion than what we've been told to believe. And it's funny. I find a lot of people like that. If you find that the number one type of person who has like an absolutely programmed NPC mind is the people who like point at everyone else around them and say that they don't have original thought. The people who are calling people NPCs usually are the NPCs, right? And it's you can find it everywhere. Like when people say, it's just a tip. It's just a tactic that they use, and it's a helpful insight to understand that if someone out of nowhere is making a point or going out of their way to call people specific things, that shouldn't make you look at that person and think, oh, I guess that person is said specific thing because the other idiot said so. No, you have to realize no one goes out of their way. No one successful. No one actually like a meaningful individual will go out of their way to kind of like stop and say and accuse people of something or to try to slander them. Like they're usually, if you're one of those types of people, it usually means that you're not really concerned with your own success. You're just trying to be some kind of follower, some herd mentality, kind of just, I don't know. It's just, yeah, whatever. Gross. Um, no, it's not your problem. It's not your problem. You know, people go around and they're the same type of people who just complain about everything. They look at anything and everything that's any bit different, and their number one thing is to draw out of their asshole um, a katana of negativity. And jokes on them. Jokes on them, because as like entertaining as that is, for like 5 seconds, after an extended period of time, people get people just don't want to put up with that shit anymore. You know what I mean? So yeah. Have a wonderful night. Thank you. Stay frosty.